Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
This is Amanda the Real Deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Hi, I'm Courtney. And I'm Janita. And you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, legendary promoter of Top Rank and CEO, Bob Arum, says this: he don't see no way possible that two-time welterweight world champion, superstar welterweight, Showtime Shawn Porter, could face his fighter, undefeated WBO welterweight superstar boxer, Terence Bud Crawford. He says that he doesn't see it happening anytime soon, even if both fighters agree to stage the fight. Even if they agree to fight, to want to fight. He says even if they agree to fight. He says the money is just not there financially to pay these fighters for such a lucrative fight. He says they cannot stage this type of fight with no fans. So Bob Arum is adamant about not putting on big fights until boxing and sports and the world gets back to normal. He doesn't want to stage these types of fights with restrictions, no fans, or limited contact, limited promotion. You know, he says all the money comes from the fans. So again, I'll reiterate what I told you guys before, that this just goes to show, this time just goes to show and proves to you how long of a way your dollar goes, how much of a voice you truly have. And so Bob Arum is saying that, yes, before boxing hit the snag, before the world had a pandemic, and before everything was ceased, this was a possibility. Also on the table, he says that Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, 8th division world champion, legendary superstar boxer, currently WBA welterweight world champion, has also reached out and his team to stage a fight with Terence Crawford. And Manny Pacquiao cited that he doesn't have too much time and he wants to fight the best of the best. We see Manny Pacquiao may mention also a fighting undefeated, unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, Earl the True Spence Jr., right? Manny Pacquiao says he's on limited time within the sport and he has to have all the big fights right now. So he made contact with Bob Arum, who at once point in time were under the same promotional banner as Terence Crawford. He was under Top Rank, and he just recently left Top Rank, and this fight couldn't get over the hump. And Bob Arum says he was the sticking point that didn't allow this fight to happen. He was the roadblock. He said he prevented it because of his friendship and his love for Manny Pacquiao, and he didn't want to see him get hurt. But after seeing Manny Pacquiao perform on a high level against former undefeated unified welterweight superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, that he's willing to do it. So he's willing now to go ahead and stage it if Manny Pacquiao is interested. This is the fight that Terence Crawford needs to get him into a different to get him into a different light, and get him into that area of, legendary fighters, right? This is the fight. He needs this fight for his legacy, right? He needs this fight for when he retires, people to remember him. These are the names he needs on his resume. We know he has all the skill sets. We know he has the ring IQ, ring generalship, and he can make adjustments. All the tools in the toolbox, right? Exciting. He's a dog. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. He can outbox you if need be. But these are the fights he needs. So with that said, Shawn Porter is also a legacy fight for him. And Shawn Porter made mention that they were going to sit down and talk and discuss this before everything took place, as far as this pandemic and being on quarantine. So they were looking and scheduled to sit down and talk about the possibilities. Everybody made mention of this fight after Shawn Porter had a great performance against Errol Spence. In a loss, no doubt, but it still was a great performance. A lot of people felt that Shawn Porter was just going to get rolled over in that fight, and that wasn't the case. So, he had a performance for the ages. And he showed that he belongs in the high level, in the upper echelon of the welterweight division as far as conversation goes. And ever since then, his father, trainer, and manager, Kenny Porter, said that they want an immediate rematch with Errol Spence, or they wanted to fight Terence Crawford. And those words grew legs. It snowballed. And now people started calling for this fight. They want to see if Terence Crawford can make the adjustments, how he would fare with a style like Shawn Porter. And so this is the fight that everybody are clamoring for outside of Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. Obviously, that's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. But if we're not going to get that, the fans, the boxing media, the boxing pundits, the boxing world, the sports world want to see how Terence Crawford fares with a Shawn Porter and that style. A lot of people have it as a 50-50 fight. I do as well. I would love to see the adjustments Terence Crawford make to deal with Shawn Porter. We know what Shawn Porter's bringing to the table. We know Shawn Porter's going to be in shape. He's not Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, Amir Khan, or the Mean Machine Kavaluskas. So we want to see how that fares. But like promoter of Terence Crawford, Bob Arum, says, it's just not the time, unfortunately. And Terence Crawford is knocking on 33 years of age. Unfortunately for the sport of boxing and sports world in this trying time, Father Time is undefeated and they're losing time, right? So by this time, Terence Crawford would already be looking to stage his fight. Errol Spence would already be on the verge of having his fight. You know, there was a lot of things that would have already taken place. And so Bob Arum is stating that it's just not going to be, the revenue is just not going to be there to stage big lucrative fights. And he doesn't see Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter happening anytime soon. Now there is rumblings of Terence Crawford possibly facing Kell Brook, former IBF welterweight world champion, superstar British boxer, who defeated Shawn Porter for the IBF title. That's how he gained it. There's talks of him, but Kell Brook is damaged goods. He broke his eye socket in his fight when he dared to be great, moving up to middleweight to challenge Gennady Triple G Golovkin. And then immediately in the next fight, Errol the True Spence Jr. broke his other eye socket. That's how he gained the IBF title, off of Kell Brook. So Kell Brook is the biggest name that Terence Crawford would have faced if this fight does come to fruition, but he's not the best opposition. Also, we have your Danis Ugas, who called out Terence Crawford. Beat him in the amateurs, says he'll beat him in the pros once is given the opportunity. So now Terence Crawford has options. It's not in his stable, but now, unfortunately, with the pandemic and the quarantine and everything taking place, we don't know. With Bob Arum stating that there's just not the revenue to put on such lucrative fights. But there is possibilities of, we have other groups outside of the United States, like the Saudi Arabia group, willing to put up big money to stage Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, which is an undisputed heavyweight bout. So, you know, there's big money in those bouts. I don't know if they're willing to put up big money for Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, or Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter, or if Bob Arum is even willing to do business outside of the country. Bob Arum is an older gentleman as well, and he has to be very, very careful when it comes to this time. So who knows if Bob Arum is willing to do business with people outside of the country who are willing to pay big money for these big fights. So let's see how this plays out. Who Terence Crawford will fight. Not to mention, Terence Crawford said he's not willing to fight big fight names, big name fighters with no fans. So there you have it. So we don't expect to see Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter, or Terence Crawford versus any big lucrative name, Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence. Errol Spence fight is looking like it might not take place till late 2021, if that. And the other fights, maybe early 2021, middle of 2021, because it's not looking good for 2020. So let's see how this all plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Jasmine. Thank you for watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, soy Jasmine. Gracias por ver Sangre Azul Deportes TV. Gracias.